Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. Today I have a Christmas project for you. It's actually a use up your scraps project, and there might be a little bit of fall in this as well. But yesterday we had the market, and I put out all my fall stuff for the first time, and people started asking me, well, when are you going to put your Christmas stuff out? And I was like, oh my gosh, I just put out the fall. But I had a request that I would make some little card tags. In the past, I've done them as like everyday gift tags, and what they are is a 3x3 card, but it doesn't come with an envelope. It has a little punch in the corner and a tie to go with it, so it becomes one of those little tags that often comes like on a gift bag. And I had some ladies come and ask me to make some of those for Christmas, and they asked me about it yesterday. So I thought, well, I have this big bundle of leftover Christmas paper that might be the perfect way to use up those scraps. So what I do when I'm done with crafting for the year for Christmas, I take all the leftover scrapbook paper and I try to save one of these clear bags that has the self-adhesive tape on it, and I try to put all the bits and pieces into the bag and seal it up. That way when I want to do a use up my scraps project, I have it ready to go. So it's going to be noisy for a second, so I'm going to take this all out and then I'll show you what's in it. Okay, and then inside of that bag I had a bunch of small pieces of paper that were scraps. So I took another bag that I had and I just put those in, laid them flat, and I sealed it and then folded the bag over. So inside this bag I have tiny little scraps and I have some bigger scraps as well. I'm just going to pull them all out. Okay, now I bought this paper because it was double-sided and I needed it for a project. But some of these will work nicely for cards because you could still write a little note on that and still have it be visible. So I have these little scraps I've set aside, and I often keep the cut aparts and things. Sometimes I like to pick up the double-sided paper at Tuesday mornings, and that's where those plastic bags came from, was the pieces that I had picked up from there. And they'll come with the label showing you what's in it on the back, and this is like a sample of all the papers that are in the pack, but they often print things on the other side, so don't ever just throw that away without looking. And this is another piece of that label. Anyway, I have all these little bits and pieces and scraps, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them. Okay, so what I had done with this is I had made Christmas gift packs. You've seen my gift packs for I did a Christmas one last year. I did Easter. I've done Halloween. So that's what I was using this paper for. And if any of the scraps that I have in here were big enough to do that with, I would save them for that to make some fresh ones for this year. But I have all of these right here, and they measure just a hair over 3.5, and they're the full 12 inches long. I'm going to be able to get 2 cards out of this. So I'm going to take these strips and I'm going to cut them down to 3 inches by 6 inches. And then I have these, the paper that's in the middle came from Joann's, I think it was. It was a whole page of just these little tiny squares that I had picked up for something, and I had mounted, and I was going to make cards, and I never got to it last year. So that's going to help be the fronts of some of the card tags. Okay, and then I have like this one. I wanted this to be a Christmas pack, but Santa Claus ended up being on the back side, so I guess I could fold it backwards. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a scrap. There's all these pages of stickers that came in all of those sets. So I'm going to set those aside because I can use those on the front after I cut the papers. And then I just have leftover papers that didn't really work for that card pack project, or I didn't like them. Oh, because they have these cut aparts on the back. If they have the cut aparts, I try to save those because now I have a good idea where I've been using the Dollar Tree tumbling blocks to make frames, and I'm going to frame a lot of these cut aparts. So don't throw those things away, and don't cut them up and use them for other things. This one I can't really use, so it might make some interesting cards. We'll have to see where the cut lands. This one's some more cut aparts I can frame. This one we'll have to see where the cuts land. This is a calendar page. That would totally work for a card. This is just paper. Most of this stuff is cardstock. I do have some random pieces of paper stuck in here from another collection that don't really go with it, but I can use them to make cards. There's another one I'll have to look at. Whoa. That one's not going to work for a card because you can't write on that. And plus, these are advent calendar numbers. I don't want to cut those apart. Okay, so I've got all of those to cut up, and then I have all of these odds and ends, little bits and pieces of paper pads left over that I don't really have anything to go with them. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up and make card tags out of them too. So I've got some cutting to do, and I will be back as soon as I'm done cutting to show you how I assemble them. I did want to show you what I'm doing. I'm cutting these down. These are actually measuring 3.5, and I want them to be 3 inches. And some of you might say, well, if you're not putting them in an envelope, why are you worried about the exact measurement? I just think a 3-inch square card looks, a square tag card looks better than a rectangular one. And so I am choosing to make them square. Now, these little strips are not going to go to waste. I will do another project where I make a Christmas star ornament out of these, and you need 1/2-inch strips of paper to do that. These are going to come in perfectly handy for that. Okay, so I'm just cutting my strips down to 3 inches, and then I'm cutting them in half to be 6 inches long. And then that's where, once I fold them in half, they'll become a card. Okay. Okay, after I finished cutting all those pieces, I folded them in half, and I added a whole bunch of 3-inch squares. I punched a little hole up in the corner so that the string could go through to tie it onto the gift bag. And I packaged 6 of them up into a package with 6 little pieces of twine down at the bottom, and I just folded the bag over and sealed it with a sticker. Okay, I don't take the time to thread through the hole with the string because it makes them harder to package. It makes them harder to keep in a bin because you can't, they get really thick, it bulks up there. So I just put it in the bottom, and sometimes people don't even want the string. So I kind of packaged like papers that were kind of from the same collection, and I just used up scraps, and I have all of these to sell, and they will sell for, put them in a bin for $1 a piece. I like to have some dollar grab and go kind of items in my craft sales. So I have 42 little packs of cards, and I didn't think that was too bad for using up scraps that I really didn't have a use for. And maybe about an hour and a half maybe worth of time, I punched the holes and bagged them up while I was watching TV. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. So if these all sell out, that's $42 for using up what I already had in my craft room. Okay, so I hope you like this idea, and I hope you'll go dig through your scrap bin of paper and make some of these gift tag cards for yourself, because they're quick and easy to put onto a package when you're wrapping. All right, if you like this project, give me a thumbs up. I like to know that helps me know what kind of projects you guys like to see. And I try to do a variety of different kinds of projects. So if you like it, let me know. So this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.